Hi, Becky. Hi, Frank.
So sorry, Stephen. I Grace has been out all week, so there's usually postings on the bulletin board that I glance at and I always to keep track, and nope, didn't think twice about it. I apologize, and I was at the fire station.
No problems.
I think Anna will be here shortly. She had emailed me a while back about the link, and I sent several messages, one pretty recently after we touched base. Frank,
Yee.
do you have text replacement on your computer?
On what?
Text replacement?
I might text as in autofill.
I guess that's where you could have a word, a phrase, a sentence, a paragraph stored, and you set up your own short code. And when you type in the
Oh,
code,
no,
then
no, I don't. I copy and paste a lot.
okay. Because I used that when I did my home inspections. I had developed a very large inventory of things that I could drop into my reports.
I'll look into it. Hi, Anna.
Hi.
Hi, Anna.
Is Steve Sullivan going to be here?
I'll text him.
Okay.
Well, since we're getting a late start, why don't we start? I'll call this meeting to order at 5:46. We have minutes from the 17th.
And I don't know why you need permission each time.
Yeah, I don't know. It's odd.
I'm looking at the screen now. You're an editor. It's odd.
I don't know.
Did you update your servers at work?
I didn't, and it's weird because I receive your email through my like Shutesbury Anna, the one made just for town business. And so I request permission, but when the permission comes back, it goes to my work email.
Oh, okay. So I have to find that email because right now that's why it's doing it. The shared permission I have because it backwards itself. So the only one the one I have you have is your intage build.
Oh yeah,
What?
so maybe do the Shutesbury email.
Okay.
That's where I'm getting it from.
Okay, then that's why now we know why it's happening.
Okay.
And
Okay.
yeah, I'll fix that somehow.
Okay.
Yep.
Otherwise, it's just a double check that I'm actually reading the minutes.
So other people had a chance to review the minutes from the 17th.
Yes.
Any other questions, changes? Do I hear a motion to accept the minutes from the 17th of April?
So moved.
Do I hear a second? Where's Jeff?
I'll second.
All in favor, Cook,
Aye.
McGinn,
Aye.
Quackenbush,
Aye.
Dalmas, aye. Thank you. Okay, moving on. Update on replacement of the insulation on the refrigerant lines at the fire department. Jeff?
I haven't gotten there yet.
Okay. Becky, any word on the asbestos testing at the dam keeper shed?
I have only that he said he went, but I have not yet gotten the report back.
Okay, and who is that that's doing that?
Atlas, they go out and they find inspectors, so it's the inspector from
Oh.
Atlas.
I have a question about that. After putting the minutes together and listening to you all talk about that, just for curiosity's sake, I do love the idea of just putting the metal roof up there. How old is the Dam Keepers building? And is it any under the purview of the historical commission so that we don't get in trouble putting a metal roof on?
Over an asphalt roof?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So yeah, historically
Asphalt roof
incorrect.
Historic?
I don't know. I'm just asking. So,
Yeah,
I don't
no,
know.
I think if it was a slate roof, well, there could be an issue.
Or a shingle shake roof or something like that. Okay. I was just
but
curious.
I think this, yeah, I think, and we might not have needed to do the asbestos test,
Yeah.
but encapsulating it, I don't know. I feel better with all the leaking that's gone on there and
Yeah.
stuff. It's better to know maybe.
Hmm.
But that building's not on any historical list, correct?
No.
Okay.
I don't believe so.
That's okay.
So is West Schoolhouse number 2 on a historic list?
There's, yeah, we unlike Leverett, we haven't gone through the process of putting there. I think the old historical commission felt that it wasn't always a positive thing to be on the list. So we don't have many buildings in town on historical lists. I think by age that a number of them qualify, but it's not, there's a.
It's not formal, which is good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so we will await the report from Atlas.
Can we go back? Is Atlas a testing company or is Atlas an abatement company?
They are more of an abatement company. So when I called, he said that they have a pool of independent inspectors, and he called one of the inspectors. He told me he was going to call one of the inspectors, but I believe the gentleman who coordinates all the inspectors did the inspection himself. And yeah, I see your eyes going, how can that be kosher if they also do abatements? But I think it's a separate arm.
Well, the gentleman from Atlas could gather the sample and give it to a lab, and the lab might actually do the determination.
Right, they do submit, the reports that we get back are lab reports.
Okay.
Well, I'm thinking more in terms of if it was hot and we wanted to abate it, Atlas
Can do that, yeah,
maybe not. Since
because they did that, we're involved in the test.
right.
Okay. So then the other one is Abide that I'd have to go to for remediation.
Well, I don't know the answer to this. I'm just kind of questioning it. That's all.
Well, I can just say, I hope you're wrong, but I will look into it. Just because it'll make it harder.
Okay.
Yeah, because I was under the impression from a couple of tests that Gail had done for us, that they were using one company to do both. Because we only got one bill.
Okay.
Okay. Anything else on that? So replacement of the door sill at Old
Stephen, I'm
Town
sorry.
Hall, pardon?
I'm sorry, so is it settled that you're going with a metal roof?
Well, we had talked about it last time and said that we were okay with that.
Okay.
And unless anybody else wants to discuss that further.
Well, and when you say a metal roof, are we talking exposed fasteners or are we talking standing seam?
I'm guessing this is something that, I discussed this with Russ Wilson, And I'm guessing this is exposed fasteners and this is not standing seam. This is something that, we could, I think that he would be willing to work on. And he said he's done this numerous times, gone over shingle roofs.
Okay. Well, because we needed the question before we could answer, are we definitely going a metal roof? Because if it was standing seam, then cost may have been an issue.
Right, definitely.
But it would look really nice.
Look nicer.
It's gonna make the peeling paint stand out.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. How nice do we want it to look? Got it. So as far as the door sill replacement at Town Hall, last week I picked up a nice piece of mahogany from, is it Forest Products? Is that the name of the group, Jeff? The
Yes.
organization?
Yes.
From Forest Products. And Friday, Russ Wilson, with my assistance, will replace the door sill. Unless we have rain. Jeff, you want to run through what happened with our meeting with Santos, painting contractor for the school?
We went through some of the requirements that the contract documents had. We need a schedule of values. We need a schedule. We need submissions. If they wrote it all down, we'll see whether we get any of this stuff. Then we walked over or drove over to the building. They seem to have I think, a clear understanding of what's in the documents and what their tasks ahead of them are. They're going to start in the south and do the majority or all of the woodwork, and then start moving their way around the building, continuing with the woodwork, and while that's taking place, perhaps start painting on the south side. So they're going to kind of circle the building. We talked a little bit about the quality of paint that we're interested in, so we'll see what they give us in the way of submissions. But I think Stephen and I both left feeling okay that these guys will do an okay job.
I have a question about the south side. Last year when I did a walk around and the principal was there, I told her about the gardens that were up against the building. And she said, we usually plant stuff in the spring for the kids to learn. Did you notice any new plantings?
No.
No.
Okay, good. And I don't know if that area should be dug out at all.
Yes. We actually, Santos actually asked about that when we were on the, I guess it was the east side, the shed side of the building. There was some kind of, I'll call it volunteer, slightly invasive ferns that were coming up right against the wall, covering the bottom trim. And I assured them that the highway department, Steve, are you hearing me? That the highway department, before they would start, would, come in and essentially cut everything down so the base trim is fully exposed, and all the plants, all the plantings that were worth salvaging were going to be moved to a holding area. Because I think Steve and I discussed that previously.
Yes, we did. And when we were doing the sweeping last week, I blew leaves off a couple of sections that didn't have too many, but we'll get all those leaves out of there too.
Okay. But yeah, I don't know, on the east side, you'll see when there's a entrance.
Yeah, it's the
to the
fifth
left
grade.
of that, all those ferns.
It's the fifth grade classroom. That's where the bulk of the leaves are too.
Oh, okay. So when we find out a true start date, we can let you know.
I have one more general question about the roof. They're going to be having a summer camp at the school this year. So has anyone checked to see if our painters are all quarried or will be quarried? Because if
I
not,
talked to Jackie, about them, they inquired whether they could use the bathroom or not. So I talked to Jackie about what her thoughts were on that. And she said, if they use the bathroom, they need to be quarried. If they're just outside, they don't. And I told what Rick the same thing, and he said, well, it might be easier for us just to get a porta potty. Because
Yeah.
they're not always gonna be there either on the weekends, so.
Yeah.
What
And
does quarried
yes,
mean?
they are having summer school through July 15th. And last year, we had to be very careful on the roof project that which side they started on because of where the kids were. But Jackie doesn't seem to have the same concerns with this crew. But she's gonna be gone July 1st.
The quarry takes a while to.
No, these are pretty fast.
Yeah,
They
the-
got them done in a few days.
Oh,
It's
really?
I get mine back oftentimes like within an hour.
Yeah.
I mean, if somebody passes. Yeah.
And what does quarried mean?
criminal background check, basically.
Got it.
It's not every crime, it's just certain crimes.
Got it. Crimes that would be a concern given the
Yes.
children.
Yeah.
Got it.
Correct.
Okay.
Mhm.
But sometimes if you tell somebody you're Corey checking them, then they just confess to you all the things that didn't show up, that won't show up on the Corey anyway. So it's it's an interesting try it out sometime.
I have, it is interesting. Yeah, so I think we're good there, Steve.
Okay, so yesterday afternoon, I met with Bert Fernandez. He's a member of the Historic Commission at West Schoolhouse #2, and went up in the attic and removed the damaged sheathing from the puncture wound, and did some repairs inside so that now shingles can be reinstalled on the outside. There's now a nailing surface. And again, Russ Wilson said he would work on that. So after we do the door sill, I'll talk to him about when would be a time to replace the shingles.
Are those just normal shingles or those?
Just plain old
Remember those
asphalt
days?
shingles.
Hmm?
Plain old asphalt shingles, 3-tab.
Do we have any?
I don't know if we do. Russ might have some. If not, we'll have to get a bundle.
Okay.
Unless somebody's got some in their basement.
What color?
Okay.
I think they were white, but it's on the backside, which has a lot of algae growth, moss growth, fungal growth.
Green.
Could be any color.
They have a bunch of brown that was left at the house I could look for.
I just want to mention that our Santos is quite eager. I just happened to be at the school on Monday for a safety meeting. And as I was leaving, one of the office staff said, Becky, there's men walking around outside. Do you know who they are? And I was like, well, I didn't know. I wasn't planning to meet anybody. Is it the building committee? And she said, oh, no, it's not the building committee. So I get to the south side of the building and there's Rick and his crew. This Santos, I guess the gentleman who owns the company, and they were taking measurements. So I gave them, and I made them go and sign in at the office, and then they went back to finish up. And they will be notifying me before they arrive on site the next time.
Good. Well, that's great.
So I was very fortunate I was there. And the other thing about, the Cole mentioned that their work, their bid documents were meticulous, he said.
Great.
So hopefully that bodes well for the overall project.
Definitely. Okay, moving on, update on spreadsheets. I was wondering, Frank, if you had a chance to, no, okay.
No, sorry. I gotta get 2 or 3 more and then we can print something up. Try to get to it this week.
Okay. So a couple things to mention as far as going on to unanticipated items. I went up to town hall today and checked the kitchen ceiling. And there's one area as you enter the kitchen where it certainly suggests that there'd been some kind of slow seepage, moisture seepage, leakage. But it tested bone dry with the moisture meter, and there was no indication of any temperature variation using the thermal imaging camera. The rest of the ceiling, a lot of peeling, but nothing there really suggested that it could have been from any kind of moisture. Now, the area where it suggests there could have been leakage, Becky and I went upstairs into, that's the tax assessor's office area. It's actually in the closet, which is kind of above where the spot is. And I mean, there's no water source unless there, is piping in the ceiling. There's no water source up there that could be the cause from what I could tell. So,
Could it be from the outside, Stephen, where all the aluminum's expanded and running in from there?
It's
well,
like
it
on
would
the
be,
opposite side of the kitchen.
it's,
the
it's,
window.
it's when you first go into the kitchen, it's
Okay.
only about 3 feet from the hallway wall.
Okay, yeah,
So I don't think so.
okay.
The second thing I did is I went and took a look at the senior room door closer, and the strike plate is barely attached. I mean, it moves this easily if you put just a couple fingers on it. So I think that before say trying to move to a different door closer, I think the strike plate needs to be figured out, adjusted, secured, so it's in place and doesn't move. Because I think what happens is when the doorkeepers hit it, it pushes it back. And at that point, the keepers don't then slide in and go into position.
Do you think there's rotting behind the screws or something?
Well, one of the screws came out, and it's a very short screw. It might only be an inch. I didn't try pulling it apart to see. I mean, on the surface, there was nothing that was obvious as rot.
But the wood was all frayed from all this action, I think.
Well, and I think people have tried to re-secure it. There are pieces of, I think, like mat board or very thin pieces of veneer behind there, and someone has worked on it, but not recently. And
they didn't use a 4-inch screw to get into a joist.
right, yeah. And on Friday, when Russ and I are at the Old Town Hall, that's when I thought I'd also evaluate the electrical components there. Because the last meeting we had talked about all the issues at Town Hall, and Anna had suggested the idea that, if we had other electrical issues, getting them all sort of bundled together for an electrician. So that was the only other location where I think there's any real issues, because the highway department's taken care of in terms of they got money, or they asked for more money on the most recent warrant for that upgrade.
Is there anything electrical in the lock closet where all the voting stuff is? I don't remember.
In the back? In
No,
downstairs?
in the front. No, in the front of Old Town Hall. Are you doing Old Town Hall?
In Old Town Hall.
Yeah, that's where the door sill is, and that's where I'm going to evaluate the electrical.
Right. So in other words, you might have to have Grace open that door to see if there's anything, old wiring or anything like that you want to see. Because she keeps that door in the front, that room in the front with all the voting stuff locked up.
That room doesn't have any electrical, I don't believe.
Any lights or anything like that?
I don't think so.
Okay.
But did you say, Becky, that Grace is away this week?
Her whole family has COVID.
Oh, geez.
So we were very glad not to have her in town hall.
But if there was something I wanted to take a peek at, do you have keys?
I do not, that's the one key that I do not have. I have I have the closet on the other side and I have the key to the door, but since Grace has declared that the election vault room, she has kept that
It's
locked.
hers. Okay. Well, worst case, if an
I
electrician.
can text her and ask her if there's any electricity in there. I'm sure she'll know.
Okay. Okay.
That'll help. But she'll be back Monday, I think.
Mhm.
Anybody else have any other unanticipated items?
Oh,
The only thing I can say is I called the slate roof guy again, but still no answer. So does anybody know anybody else?
Who are you calling? Mitch Hawkins?
Yeah. I just keep getting a machine.
yes, thank you.
I don't know if, does anybody know if
Okay.
Peak Performance out of East Hampton, if they do slate? I'm not sure.
Who?
Peak Performance, PEAK.
Oh, yeah. I've heard of them. I don't know anything about them.
Yeah, I work with them and mostly on metal and shingles. I could ask.
Yeah. Okay.
Are they East Hampton?
East Hampton, yeah.
Okay. Well, maybe I'll give them a call tomorrow.
Hmm.
The highway department has a new electric panel. It's about a third bigger and a little cute generator as of today that works.
Oh. So all we need is a really good storm to test it out.
Is it, Steve, you said it's little. It's a cute little one.
Yeah.
Smaller is it than the others, the one at the
Oh,
fire?
it's like it looks like one of the ones you could buy at Home Depot, but it's a commercial. It's a 20 kilowatt. He says that the technology is way better, so it doesn't need to be as big, and it can run all of our stuff, including the welder, at the same time.
And the welder.
Wow. Is your welder on a 40 amp, 240, 50 amp? Do you know?
Yeah, it's on a 50 now.
Yeah. Huh.
So you're
Well,
up to code now?
No, we still don't have the ground fault outlets anywhere, but the panel is way better and it has room for more stuff.
Excellent.
Oh, that was quite the sight when he took the front of that panel off, and there was 50 years worth of wires all wound around in there. It was crazy.
Oh my God. Did you get a picture? No.
That'd be liability. Insurance company wouldn't like that. Multiple wires going into the same breaker.
That's a wonderful thing that you have it done. And it's a Kohler though, right, Steve?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
And it goes testing once a week or once a month.
It should be probably once a week.
Okay.
And the guy who helped install it is the one that comes out and does all the maintenance, and he says he really likes those because there's almost no maintenance to them.
Nice.
Nice. So was Tim Pachurik there?
Yeah, he was there 2 or 3 times.
Okay.
Oh, I have a question, Steve. In that little connector room, going back to the 5-bay shed where the leakage used to occur along that back wall, or the wall between that building and the 5-bay shed. The question is, I remember we talked about, you said it had gotten a lot better, or did you say it isn't leaking anymore?
It still leaks a little bit, and then every so often it gets that moldy smell, but not like it used to.
Okay, because I had a volunteer who finished putting batten strips all up on the end wall of the 5-bay shed, thinking that water was getting behind that and trickling down. So it sounds like that's improved it a lot, but not totally resolved it.
Yeah, it's way better, and we haven't really had a heavy enough rain lately to make it do its thing.
Okay. Okay, anybody have anything else? We could, we have until 5:30, is that, I mean, 6:30, Becky?
You guys can keep going. I have to leave at 6:20, but I have a in-person meeting tonight, not another Zoom. So you guys can keep going. I'm just gonna make Frank the co-host. I should have done that sooner.
Hey, I was invited to that one too.
So you can come too. They still have a quorum, Steve. So that'll be good. Why can't I make Frank? This is the weirdest thing, Frank.
I'm here.
Well, I can't make anybody the co-host.
Interesting.
Why did that happen? Oh, that's because I made you host by accident.
Okay.
So that'll work.
Okay.
Now you can make people co-host if you want, Frank.
Yes. I see that now. I'm playing with it. Okay. So what do you want to do, Stephen? You want to do?
Well, we could go to assigning action levels where they haven't been assigned. And I guess one thing we could talk about just before that is, do we want to have, since the town hall is pretty much completed, do we want to have a meeting at town hall and to go over the report as it stands to see what everyone thinks of the comments that are made and changes should be made, or this
That'd be a
point,
good idea.
some of those things I looked at a while ago, we might have some changes or additions.
I'd be
That's fine.
available.
Is this a daytime or is this an evening?
Well, I mean, I guess one possibility is we do it as a meeting, one of our meetings. Or do we have a special meeting to do that?
I would vote meeting time.
What was that?
I would vote meeting time.
Yeah, that's what I was vote also.
So Becky, if we do this as a meeting that we invite the public, instead of, should we call that meeting a site visit?
So you're having that, you're going to be showing the spreadsheets, right?
No, we're going to be holding the spreadsheets and going over the notes in all the buildings of town hall at 5:30 someday.
Okay, so it's going to be in person. That's the only change. And then, yeah, that's similar to a site visit.
Okay.
But
I'm just,
you could be making some decisions.
oh,
not gonna make decisions any more than we do at the meetings. We're just, the decision would be to change a comment.
So the benefit of the site visit is you don't have to take any minutes. So go ahead and call it a site visit. It's just, you know, when the format is more like a meeting, but it's fine. You know, you're not gonna be, making any kind of,
I mean, we can call it a meeting and then do the minutes on it and just do the changes, but then, yeah.
I
Let's
just
call
call it a site visit
call
and
the site visit, make things easier.
Okay.
So when I schedule the meeting to be at town hall, so it'll be in person and then I just refer to it as site visit?
What do you mean when you schedule?
well, you don't post it if it's
Well,
a,
I set up the agenda. What'd
yeah,
you say? I mean, I set the agenda and I put all the information about the, what we're gonna do with the meeting. So right now, you know, I set it up as a virtual meeting. So this will be in,
you'll
Do we
make
need to
it
put,
a-
pardon?
do we need to put it on the calendar? I guess that's what, you put that on the calendar when you do that. Do we need to put this, a site visit on the calendar?
typically you do not put site visits on the calendar.
Right.
So,
Like when you went to look at the door with Russ and
Yep.
when you and Jeff went to the school, did you post those meetings?
No,
So you don't, so if we do this 2 weeks, you don't have to post it.
I see. So there'll
Does the
be no meeting
29th
posted. We'll show up in 2 weeks at town hall.
Right. Yep, you're bringing donuts.
What time, 5:30?
5:30. Do you want the new Dolly Parton Krispy Kreme donuts?
What?
Then it sounds frightening. No,
I'm not
I'm
sure
really
is there a Krispy Kreme around these parts?
Yes, there's one
There
in
are?
West Springfield.
Oh.
All right.
I have
Well,
a
see if
friend
they
who
have
drives there just for that.
Let's see if they have the Dolly Partons. They even have their own special box.
Well, I'm gonna leave my computer sitting here
Okay,
Okay.
and I'll see you guys after a bit.
Yep.
Let's pay a short meeting.
Actually, I'm gonna keep it, I'm gonna carry it with me to the fire station, but I'm not gonna close it.
okay.
So do we agree to that in 2 weeks, we'll meet at town hall for a site visit?
Yep.
Does that work for everyone?
That's the
We'll set-
29th.
Let's set a time.
5:30? Does that work for everyone?
Yeah. We're meeting at town hall, is that what you said?
Yeah. I mean, we're gonna go over the town hall spreadsheet. Because that's the one that's complete, pretty much.
And I'll try to get copies made for everyone. So that we can have something physical to write on and look at.
Yeah.
So this is what I've been busy on.
Kiln. Is that a kiln?
That's a kiln. I'm going to show you a quick, I don't know where your daughter is, Anna, but another one of my fun things. I built this 2 foot by 3 foot by 2 by 2 by 3 foot insulated kiln for portableness, and I bring it around to Maha High School, Athol High School, and Swift River. I got a grant, and we fired this thing up to 1850 degrees inside, and you basically, it's glowing in the background. I don't know if you can tell because of the sun, but we take it as called raku.
Right.
And this is at Maha High School, and you take the piece out and you throw it in sawdust. and all the kids loved it. So until I dropped one, but that was okay.
Dropped one? Oh,
And
that's
you're-
cool.
and
So
this is-
what are you firing in there?
It's the whatever the kids make. It's a special clay that can take the thermal shock of taking it out very hot.
Uh-huh.
And so they made dishes, tiles, Pac-Man. One person made a blueberry, a few other things, and you just fill it up in the bucket, put a bunch of sawdust in there, and it reduces black where there's no glaze, and where the glaze is, it's white with crackle in it. So,
Oh, cool. And
And
what is
am I remembering correctly that with Raku, there's a certain amount of, we'll say, mystery to what you're going to get? I mean,
oh yeah,
yeah.
it's not a certain amount. There's an awful lot of mystery. Would you want to ask Anna?
Oh, you were taking this to high schools, or I was just curious what
Yeah.
age you were? Yeah.
Well, I'm doing high schools, and then I got Swift River. So I haven't done sixth grade. I had one sixth grader when I taught in Texas, and sixth grade is a tough grade. So Brianna Drone, who started Launch Space, asked me to do Swift River, but I could probably do sixth grade and up. And I've got this little wheelchair carrier at the back. I attach to my trailer hitch, and I drive over to the school with the 40-pound gas tank, and I can get it up to temperature in about an hour and a half, or
great.
you know, and
Cool.
it takes the breakdown and cool down takes a lot longer, but it's a fun thing. We got a great grant to do it, and we're going to be doing it with more and more because people usually don't have this type of art.
Yeah,
Maha has
the schools.
what?
Sorry. Oh, I was just curious how you picked the schools.
It was just they made a bunch of calls in the beginning and a bunch of email references, and the first three that said yes, and a lot of people never answered.
Yeah.
But now we have video and not propaganda. What do you call that? Publicity. Yeah, and so that we can show what we do, and I think more and more will be interested. I get them all confused. Rivers or Winds out in Greenwich didn't answer back, but they have a big interest. It'd be just fun. It's just fun to go around because it doesn't take long to set up and everything else. And there's a lot of this grant money for the arts right now, so it's kind of neat. I'm not getting rich on it, but I actually enjoy the sharing part. Because this kiln, I think I put it together for about $2,500, $500 over budget, and the same one you can buy online for $8,000. So
that's
I
how
have
you
a friend.
You got to build and sell a couple.
Yeah, and yeah. It's a friend helped me weld it, so it's professionally welded and all that other stuff. So, and I did all the insulating myself. So it's a fun little thing.
Yeah, that's super cool. I'm totally into that. Remind
So
me.
what's so you're using propane as your fuel?
Yep.
And do you just have a burner in there, or what's
right to the left? You can see there's a little metal stand. It's a Venturi burner, which grabs its own air and mixes the gas air ratio perfectly. And I went ahead with an extra 400 addition, an extra burner that has the safety valve on it with a pyrometer, whatever that same thing your hot water tank would have if the pilot blew out. So the solenoid was shut down, and I chose that's an $800 burner. I chose that just because fire departments, if they look at it, say, "Oh, at least you're safe." If the wind blows it out, there's no gas going all over it. And next Thursday, I'll be at Swift River in the afternoon, and we had all the principals ask the fire departments what they want to do, and they gave them a little video. I shared another video of not mine, but a commercial, something from YouTube. And two kids in my class there, fathers are on the volunteer of New Salem Fire Department, so they'll be bringing a truck and making it a big to do. So I just bring a little small fire extinguisher and a small bucket of water, and that's it. It's a very safe thing. It takes about a half hour. with a good wind to cool it down, or an hour and a half with no wind like the other day. And I put it back in my car and bring it back to launch space. So that's what I've been doing. That's what I've been, when I've been away. And then this month going forward, I'm building kilns and firing kilns again for my work. So anyway, I thought I'd share that with you.
Yeah, that's great.
And what grade is your daughter in?
One second grade and kindergarten.
Okay, a few years away.
I'm gonna say, like, remind me in a few years.
Yeah, it's a very special raku clay that takes the thermal shock, but I'm amazed at the creativity of sixth graders. In the high school level, the older they get, the less creative and patience. So there are always a few, but I was very impressed. So anyway, thanks for seeing that.
Yeah, thank you for sharing.
Yeah. I see it's 6:30. I wasn't imagining we were going to go past 6:30. So unless other people want to continue.
I smell dinner.
I smelled in it too.
The one quick question on the reports. I remember last time we looked at it, there was a comment about, where a repair has been done and that's been entered, that then the original comment ought to be deleted. And I was wondering if there'd be value in, say, adding a comment or adding to the comment saying, see work completed. In other words, then there's sort of a history of the particular condition that just becomes part of the report, or should it just be totally eliminated? That's something we can talk about next time. But
Yeah, you can use strikeout. Yeah, highlight it and strike it all out, and then have a new line saying "see fixed comments" or something. Yeah, we'll talk about that next time. Awesome.
So do I hear a motion that we close the meeting?
I make a motion, we close the meeting.
Second,
Second,
roll call. Cook,
aye.
McGinn,
Aye.
Quackenbush,
Aye.
Sullivan. Sullivan. I guess Sullivan's gone.
He went to the other meeting.
Okay. Dallas, aye. Good night, everybody. See you in 2 weeks at
Good
Town
night.
Hall.
Yep.
Right.
Good night.
Night.
Night.